What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Stardust here. Welcome back to another video here on the YouTube channel, and today we are talking about Gotham Knights. Now, this was an interview by Game Informer. I will link the article down below with the interview, but I will be covering pretty much the big beats that you need to know. Before we get into that, make sure to subscribe, make sure to ring that notification bell for all the updates on your favourite superhero games. But let's get straight into this. So the developers were asked how many suits will Nightwing have in the game. Now, they confirmed that all of the Knights will have 11 different suits. They say, as Jeff mentioned, those are full stars. Within a style, you can have customization with different pieces and different colorways. Each suit style is basically a silhouette. Every time you craft a suit, think of it as an instance of that silhouette that comes with stats and a specific colorway that you can then override by unlocking more colorways as you go. Then we get a little bit of details about Red Hood, because I know that a lot of people are a little bit unsure about this iteration of Red Hood. So it was asked, is your version of Jason Todd the Red Hood similar to the comics? Did he die and come back to life from a different Earth? Jeff says he is resurrected and was recently murdered. You learn more about that throughout the game and what happened to him. Obviously, this is what makes him different from the other Knights, as some of the comic interpretations of the Red Hood that we like, he's kind of a mystic character. He's been changed by his experiences. That's part of what he brings to the table and how he expresses himself in his abilities. Now, I genuinely like this. I really don't think it's bad for Red Hood to have that mystic leap and stuff like that. Maybe, you know, for 100% accuracy, it's a little off-putting for some people, but for me, I want each knight to feel severely different, and I want them to have their own thing that makes them desirable to play. And Red Hood at the moment, fully combat-wise, doesn't seem like the most interesting character, so I definitely think he needed something. Then we get a little bit of details about how the game is actually going to begin. So it was asked, does the game start with Batman's death? Is the intro cutscene what we saw in the first trailer with the reveal of his death and the Bat family regrouping? This was obviously replied to with, that's exactly it. That's an interesting starting point for us because each of the four characters have a different way of dealing with the grief and taking on the mantle of the Bat. They all get back together and have different past relationships. Red Hood is at least connected to the group at the start story. At the story's start, my apologies, my word. Our version of Robin is quite a young character, so his way of dealing with the situation is different than everyone else's. The death of Bruce starts their journey through the game, and also sets the tone for a really important aspect of the story, which is how they take on Batman's job and learn how to get along together. Now, that's really exciting. I mean, we know that they're handling Batman's death not the greatest. Obviously, we saw it a little bit in that most recent gameplay trailer with Jason Todd looking at the cowl, and Nightwing being like, "You good, man? You good?" You know what I mean? So, be interesting to see how that progresses as the game does. Then it was asked, in some of the early gameplay clips, we see the heroes on bat cycles roaring along highways. Those shots make it look like the world is larger than the Arkham cities. How much real estate are we looking at? It was then said, it's pretty big. I haven't put one map over the other, but our Gotham is a big place. I tend to spend a lot of my Zoom calls on a bat cycle driving around Gotham. It's one of the fastest and most chill ways to move around the city. It feels like a big place. For sure, it's the biggest version of Gotham that has been represented in video games. The most important thing for us is its density and verticality. It has a lot of layers, so that sort of gives you an indicator that this map is going to be quite big. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, for me personally, Batman games have never really been about necessarily the traversal side of it, but I like the idea of being able to just go up really high with not Batman in this case, but one of the other Knights, and just look over Gotham City and just sort of feel like I am one of the Knights, you know what I mean? Then it was asked, we don't know much about how missions work yet. Can you talk about story missions and side activities? Then it was said, without giving anything away that we don't want to talk about in future communications, the city has a lot of different stuff you can do. You can find some of it by I definitely said that wrong. Without giving away anything that we want to talk about in future communications, there you go. The city has a lot of different stuff you can do. You can find some of it by moving around. We have an AR vision we showed off in a gameplay trailer that is a great way to find things to do. As for mission structure, if you are an action-adventure fan, you'll be familiar with it. We have an ongoing case file that is of the mystery you are investigating. If you play through the story and unlock new chapters in the case file, they'll tell you where to go. So, There you go, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for kind of the big parts of that interview today. I have to be honest, Gotham Knights is a game that a lot of people are writing off just because of the really bad marketing that we've seen already, but like the gameplay that I'm showing you in the background of this video was a thing that made me think, yeah, like this is it, like I'm really excited for this. And it's not like this game isn't suddenly this game, you see what I'm saying? And I think that that's sort of the most important thing to remember, and I really look forward to being able to play the game myself. And hopefully there's a little bit more post-launch that we can deal with as well once the game comes out, but I will make sure to keep covering it as I do with all the other games. Thank you guys for watching this. I'll see you in a bit. Peace.